We all male employees of our department, dressed as female to seek justice, and it made everyone pale. I work in a mid-sized company with what most people would call a professional office environment. Glass walls, open desk, weekly meetings, corporate values printed on posters. My department has 9 people, 5 men, 4 women. We all worked hard, helped each other, and felt blessed to be part of this team. 6 months ago, our previous manager was transferred to another state, so the company hired a new one. Mid-40s, impressive resume, years of experience, spoke confidently in meetings. HR loved him. We were also happy to work under an experienced man. At first, nothing felt wrong. Not obviously. There were no insults, no shouting, no threats, nothing you could point at and say, that's discrimination. It was quieter than that, subtler. The kind of thing you brush off at first. He made sure the women in our department always left at exactly 5 p.m. Not 5:01, not 5:05. At 5 o'clock sharp, laptops closed, bags picked up, smiles exchanged. Even if someone tried to stay late to complete her work, the manager would wave her off and say things like, "Go ahead, the guys will handle it." At first, we didn't think much of it. Okay, we thought. Teamwork, helping each other, no big deal. But it wasn't occasional. It was every day. From 9 to 5, we all worked. After 5, the men stayed behind, finishing not just our own tasks, but everyone else's. Most nights, we didn't leave until 8 or 9 p.m., and no one acknowledged it. Meanwhile, the smallest contributions from female employees were praised publicly. A short email update, great initiative, sitting quietly in a meeting, key involvement. But when one of us finished a major task, it was just expected. No praise, no mention, no thanks. Whenever a male employee asked to leave on time for personal reasons, the response was always some version of, "They have medical issues. They have family responsibilities. Be understanding." We tried to be. Until we realized something uncomfortable. Those emergencies almost never existed. We'd later find out someone left early to go shopping, or meet friends, or simply because she didn't feel like staying. And this started happening because the manager encouraged it. The same female employees who once tried to give their best slowly began enjoying the unjustified treatment. And the manager? He'd smile, nod, wave them off, then turn to us and say, "You guys can cover this, right?" Then came the leave approvals. In our company, employees can't send leave requests directly to HR. They go through the manager first, who decides whether to forward them. For the women, approval was effortless. 1 week, 2 weeks. Urgent, the manager would mark it. For the men, leave felt impossible. 1 day off? Too much workload. 2 days? Deadlines are close. A week? Let's revisit later. Later never came. One incident still makes my blood boil. A male co-worker requested 1 week off to visit his terminally ill mother, who lived 2 states away and had been diagnosed with last-stage cancer. He explained everything. He applied properly. He even offered to hand over his workload. The manager refused. That same week, a female co-worker asked for 2 days off because she was switching apartments. The manager approved a full week. When questioned, he said she needed flexibility. Her project, handled entirely by my male colleague, was later credited to both of them. He complained to HR. HR asked the manager. And to HR, in a sweet voice, the manager apologized for the inconvenience and said the male employee was working on an important project that couldn't be delayed or handed over to someone else, which was why the leave couldn't be approved. So HR dismissed the male employee's complaint. This wasn't isolated. Every man in our department had a story like this. Doctor appointments denied, family emergencies ignored, burnout laughed off, complaints were filed, always the same excuse, and nothing happened. So I started documenting everything. Emails, dates, approved leaves, rejected leaves, overtime hours, project ownership. I didn't know why yet. I just knew I'd need it. Then it became personal. My wife was pregnant. We were excited and happy, but worried too, because it was our first baby. I thought this was a big emergency, and according to company policy, I was entitled to 1 full month of leave for childbirth. I believed I didn't need to worry about it. I was wrong. I applied 2 months in advance, a detailed email, proper documentation. I explained everything, due date, complications, first labor, and the possibility of surgery. My manager replied, "We'll see next month, depending on department needs." A month later, 3 weeks before the due date, I emailed again, same response. As the due date approached, my wife became increasingly anxious. She was terrified I wouldn't be there. The doctor warned us that stress could cause early labor. I went to my manager again, explained everything, asked for confirmation. He refused. Right now, department needs don't allow this. You might be able to take a few days later. The next day, I found out he had approved 2 weeks of leave for a female employee because her sister was visiting after 6 months. That's when something inside me snapped. I didn't go to HR. Instead, I called the other men. We gathered at my house. One by one, they shared their stories. We laid everything out on the table. For hours, we organized emails, timelines, project files, overtime logs, and HR complaints. By the end of the night, the pattern was undeniable. The following Monday, the CEO was scheduled to visit our department. We decided he needed to see the truth. Monday morning at 5 a.m., my wife's contractions started. I rushed her to the hospital. Still, I had to come in for the meeting. At 8, before leaving her, I promised I would be back by 10:30 and stay with her. She was terrified and started crying. I kissed her forehead and promised again that I would be with her. I left her with my parents. I arrived at the office at 8:45, 45 minutes late, the first time late in my entire life. My manager was furious and demanded an explanation. I told him, "It's meeting time. We'll talk about it later." 10 minutes before 9 a.m., all 5 of us went to the restroom together. At exactly 9 a.m., we walked into the meeting room, wearing dresses, wigs, and makeup. The room went silent. The manager's face turned red. The CEO stared, then calmly asked, "What's going on here?" I spoke. "We want to know if wearing female attire will finally make us equal employees, or if we'll still be treated as backup labor." The female employees looked down. They understood immediately. We explained everything, slowly, clearly, with proof, emails, logs, records, everything we had gathered. Then I said, "My wife is in the hospital right now. I'm here because my wife's labor was considered less important than a co-worker's sister visiting." I handed over the emails. The co-worker whose leave had been approved looked embarrassed. She knew my leave had been rejected, but she didn't know my wife was in labor. The manager tried to murmur something, but the CEO stopped him with a sharp look. HR was called in. The CEO asked, "How many leaves from this department were approved this year?" 7. Were all employees included? All female employees. Were male employees denied? Yes. Did they complain? Yes. Did you investigate properly? I asked the manager. Did you receive his childbirth leave request? No. The manager tried to explain again. Projects, workload, deadlines. The CEO stopped him with a sharp voice and demanded the real reason. He admitted he believed women needed more flexibility than men, so he always prioritized female employees' needs. That's when I snapped. The woman in the hospital right now is also a female, and she needs her husband. I placed my resignation letter on the table. I had written that if I couldn't be present with my wife during childbirth, then I didn't need this job. I looked at the manager and said I was late today for the first time in 3 years because my wife was in labor. I said I came only to resign. If 3 years of hard work couldn't give me the flexibility to be with my wife during childbirth, I didn't want this job. Every other man followed. One said if he couldn't see his terminally ill mother, he didn't need this job. Another said if he couldn't eat dinner with his kids for weeks, he didn't need this job. Another said we all have families, parents, wives, children, and for 6 months, we had been ignoring them because of this job. We didn't want a job where we couldn't be with the people we were earning for. The CEO stared at the manager with rage. The manager's face turned white as paper. Then the CEO tore up every resignation letter, slowly, deliberately, making it clear he wasn't accepting any of them. The manager was fired on the spot. HR was terminated. Overtime was compensated to all male employees. Mental distress was acknowledged. Female employees received warnings for taking advantage of the situation and for not standing with their team members. My leave was approved immediately, for the full month. As I left, the CEO said, "Go be with your wife. Just change first. Don't scare the baby."